Hello and welcome to Fresh Face Comics, the comic book podcast, our lifelong comic book reader, guys as friends with the world of comics for the first time. My name is Joey Morgan, the aforementioned lifelong reader. With me as always is Jacob Licklider, the aforementioned newbie.
Last time on Fresh Face Comics, we had the soap opera trope of um, this being this in false disguises and having relationships under false pretenses. This week, we get to do evil identical twin sisters.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? Today we're talking about the new Teen Titans. We're back with Volume 4 finally, which is so awesome. And as always, with our new Teen Titans episodes, we have our wonderful guest Andrew coming back to the podcast. Andrew, welcome back.
Hi, thanks. It's good to be back.
It is so good to have you back. I always just love having you back for these Teen Titans episodes because especially now that we're getting into like the sort of like pre-Judas contract stuff, I am so excited to get some opinions from you this time around. So
really looking forward to it.
Yeah, gonna be a lot of fun. So, Volume 4, this is it's New Teen Titans issues number 21 through 27 plus annual number 1. It's kind of like 3 story arcs we have today. But Jacob, being the new reader, what is New Teen Titans Volume 4 about?
You know what? To describe this in one word, it's Wolfman and Perez getting really confident. Like,
oh yeah,
really confident at like, okay, our book's not going to be canceled. We just had our 4-issue miniseries of here's all our new characters plus Changeling. Let's actually do some fucking story arcs. Like let's like we open with a technically okay.
It's a 2-parter.
Technically it's a 2-parter, a 4-parter, and another 2-parter.
Yeah.
The 4-parter has an annual, so it's really a 5-parter.
That's true. That's true.
But it's George Perez art and Wolfman writing it. I mean, did I mention George Perez art? Because
George Perez, oh my god, especially in that annual, George Perez goes so hard in that.
I mean, he did the second page in particular is just
so
great.
Good. So good.
Yeah, this is interesting because we find a really good balance for most of our characters. Everyone gets like at least one chance to shine, and each of the stories are like, right, we've got to create new villains, let things evolve. Let's end the volume on a 2-issue arc that is kind of a PSA, but a really interesting PSA and like really compassionate and a little dated in places, but still like really solid. Like so much of this thing is solid, and I don't think I think it's currently my second favorite volume of the bunch. Like, I think I like Volume 2 slightly more.
Interesting. I think if I were ranking the first 4, I think 4 sits at the top personally for me.
Same here.
Yeah, I love this one. It's so good.
It's also just it's so fascinating to read, because this is one of those things where I had some foreknowledge going in. Like, I was aware I knew who the villain was of the main 4-issue arc. Like,
well, we also had a bit of Blackfire back in Tales of the Teen Titans because she played a part in Corey's backstory there.
But like, I also had seen her appearance, at least one of her appearances, in the 2003 animated show, which is toned down significantly.
Very much so.
But I am like, okay, yes, this is a thing. I was aware that a certain character was going to show up, and we were starting to see the new Teen Titans story that everybody knows about. Even if that isn't coming for another 2 volumes.
Yeah.
Or 3 volumes.
And even then, the character you're referring to only makes a very small appearance towards the very end of this volume, so...
Of course, she's front and center on Volume 5's cover, so I'm...
Oh, yeah. We'll get all into that next time. So yes. Yeah, that's going to be fun. But, yeah. Also, on the first arc, I'm a really big fan of that first 2-part arc. I think it's really strong, really tight. It's something that I'll say, like, we'll come back in the next volume. It's a sort of set of characters that's going to, keep coming back. So yeah, we'll talk more about that next time. But
it's confident. It's confident. We get some ridiculous ideas. Let's take on a cult. Let's do a cult. Cults are fun.
Yeah. Totally.
They are fun.
Totally.
And it gets
they are
really
fun
dark,
storytelling.
What was that, Andrew?
Oh, sorry. I just said it gets really dark too, like at points.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
just the first story arc, but like everything throughout this.
Oh yeah. I think especially when you get to that when you get to like the last like couple issues of the main sort of 4-part arc, one character in particular gets pushed especially far, and it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, and certainly was one could consider pushing the boundaries at the time. And in many ways still is, such great character development on display here. And really, it was just, Wolfman and Perez being trendsetters at the time. It's really good stuff. I'm a big fan. But shall we get into some, I guess what we previously referred to as Twitter questions, but are now Blue Sky questions?
Blue Sky, and the occasional, though not for this episode, Discord question, because Fresh Face Comics has left Twitter.
Yes. I'm officially gone off Twitter. All three of us are gone off Twitter now. So, yeah. As always, I'll have like our link trees and everything, and I'll include Andrew's Blue Sky link down in the description below. Follow us on Blue Sky, please, especially you, Jamie. Jamie, get over to Blue Sky. I'm calling you out directly. Please get over to Blue Sky. It's a good place to be. Over on Blue Sky, we have 4 questions today. First off, from our guest himself, Andrew, at andrewdoingart.bluesky.social, says, if you had to choose between a romantic date with a Gordanian or a hand-to-hand fight against Blackfire, which would you choose? I think a romantic date. Blackfire would definitely kill me. I would say so. Easy choice there for me.
I mean, you literally took my response, Joey. Like, I don't think Blackfire can be described as the universe's number one hater.
I suppose. I mean, I'm in the Eobard Thawne Black Manta camp of biggest DC Comics haters. But
you know what? We can have 3 biggest DC Comics haters, and this is one of them. One of them. And she's, ruthless. Yeah. So I feel like the Gordanian, you can just, get through like 2 hours of max of dinner and never have to see him again.
Exactly. Andrew, being the one that posed the question, what would you choose?
Yeah, the Gordanian. For the reasons you guys said.
You sound really sad about that.
Like the battle against Blackfire.
Yeah. Let's see. Next from our friend Sean Franco at seanfranco.bluesky.social says Wolfman on the cover, but you don't really get a Wolfman in the book. My question is, how disappointed were you about this? I don't think disappointed.
I mean, we do.
Oh, we do because Gar Logan can be a Wolfman.
I don't think he turns into a wolf at all. But also, the reason writers are credited is partially because of Marv Wolfman wanting to do a Wandering Wolfman pun in a Marvel book.
As he fucking should. And so, yes, we literally have Marv Wolfman to thank for that shit. It's awesome. I mean, I'm sure it would have naturally evolved anyway out of the industry, but Marv Wolfman continually being the trendsetter that he is. Next, we have some questions from our friend Kian at kianthequark.bluesky.social says, rank the new Teen Titans in order of how likely you are to beat them in a game of Doctor Who Battle for the Universe.
Isn't that stupid card game that has the weird pictures of like...
Is it? I thought that was like the board game. No, I think you're right. That is the card game.
I don't know.
That Dylan show.
I know a lot about like Doctor Who expanded media. I don't fucking know about Doctor Who games.
Let me see. Hang on. I want to make sure I'm right about that. Battle for the Universe. Oh yeah, it is that one. Okay. So I feel like I don't know. As far as like board games, I want to choose. I would say like you probably want like the smartest ones of the group towards the bottom. So as far as like
like none of us can beat Dick Grayson in a board game. I think he'd be great at that.
Exactly. So like top of the list, like who I'm able to beat the easiest, I think Logan, Gar Logan. I think Beast Boy.
I was gonna say Beast Boy would eat the cards.
yeah, exactly. I could probably take on Corey. I could probably do that.
You could probably take on Wally at this point in his life.
Yeah, Wally's kind of a shit at this point. Maybe Vic. Maybe Vic.
Here's the
Well,
problem.
he's all
Vic,
computer, you know.
yeah, Vic, Donna, and Raven are all very intelligent.
Yeah. There you, Kian. An actual. I don't think you expected an actual answer to that, but you got one. And Kian, we finished today on Kian's
With the fucking bitch.
Raven ? With a picture of the Raven from Doctor Who's Face the Raven from Doctor Who Series 9. Oh man, is this really the first time we've done one of these episodes with this bit? A Teen Titans episode?
Yeah,
So.
But remember, Joey, we haven't done a Teen Titans episode in over a year.
Look. I
understand why. I mean,
there are too many things to read, Jacob. Too many things to read. You ask for things, I give you things, and then it doesn't leave time for the other things that we've already read. I can't do this.
I know.
I quit this podcast. Anyway.
I feel like I'm hearing a domestic feud.
Yeah, pretty much.
It doesn't have the same ring to it when it's you and me than it does when it's you and when it's you and Brian, though.
That's true. I have to get Brian on this podcast somehow.
That is never gonna happen
unless I choose like. I feel like I know how I could do it. I feel like if I ask him to be like, "Hey, I want to get you on like the edgiest book ever," because we know it's going to torture you, Jacob.
So you're gonna put him on something by Garth Ennis.
That's a possibility. That could happen. We could do The Boys together. Oh my god, could you imagine? That would be great. I think he would agree to that then. I feel like if he knew the condition was that it would torture you somehow.
Yeah, because we can't subject him to bad Frank Miller. Like I will just spin and say no. We are not subjecting Brian to bad Frank Miller.
We could
edginess.
Though. I don't think he'd do it, but we could try.
He wouldn't do it. And then you would just force me to read more edgy Frank Miller.
That's true. I mean, I may just do that anyway.
Oh, we had an agreement only once per year.
Yeah, but we've already kind of broken that agreement, but that was your fault because you had me bump up the Marvel episodes this past block.
That doesn't count. Those were good. That was good Frank Miller.
You still wanted
it. I would take good Frank Miller over edgy Frank Miller. Like they're very different things. That's
beside the point. What if I had us read All Star Batman and Robin and The Holy Terror back to back?
I don't think I'm allowed to answer that question because it'll probably get me thrown in prison.
I would love that. Anyway, all that said, I think that does our non-spoiler section. We're going to get into spoilers right now. If you're not sticking around for spoilers, my apologies. You're missing out on a good conversation, I'm sure. But if you're not sticking around for that, you know what's coming next time. We're continuing this reading with New Teen Titans Volume 5. We're going to keep going for the next episode. And then after that, we're moving into some Suicide Squad. If you missed our announcements at the end of last episode, we announced 2 blocks in a row. So we're doing Suicide Squad after that. As always, our books that we cover today and are covering next time will all have Amazon links down in the description below, and as well as our link trees and everything, and Andrew's Blue Sky, that will all be down there as well. You can follow us, or if you want to follow us, mostly Blue Sky is what we're kind of pushing right now. But yeah. That's that. I guess here we go. Consider this your official spoiler warning. We're about to jump into the New Teen Titans Volume 4, kicking us off with New Teen Titans number 21. So, something that I had forgotten about, actually, when I reread Marv Wolfman's introduction to this book was that, most of the New Teen Titans stories up to this point were, single-part stories. And this is this volume, especially as a whole, is sort of the New Teen Titans sort of big push to do longer multi-part stories and sort of serialize the book a bit more.
And let's be honest, this is also a time where the serialization of books in general was starting to take off. You would start having multi-part stories in Batman especially in the 70s before this. And I want to say Green Lantern, Green Arrow having that whole big, also Danny O'Neill written run of hard traveling heroes being some multi-part stuff. So we're shifting into longer serialized stories that'll have people coming back for more, which I think is good.
Oh yeah.
I think it's also especially helpful that these are very easy to get. Like
these
issues were retailing at 60 cents. Like very easy for kids to pick up at newsstands in the grocery store, fall in love with them.
And also they knew they had faithful readers at the time. Like the book was well established at this point. It was able to take that chance and tell these longer stories and not lose people in the process. So here we have.
They didn't think they would get past issue 6.
Yeah,
somehow
insane. But yeah, we have the story called Beware the Wrath of Brother Blood. We're introducing the character of Brother Blood to the book, or to comics as a whole, rather. Jacob, any familiarity with Brother Blood before this?
Here's the thing. I know he was on Arrow, right?
He was on Arrow. Do you remember who he was played by?
I don't. It's been over a decade since I've watched Arrow, Joey.
Of Lucifer fame, the one and only Kevin Alejandro.
Hang on. No.
You're Dan from Lucifer, yeah.
You're breaking my brain right now.
yeah, he was fucking Brother Blood, and he was working for Deathstroke in season 2, if I remember correctly.
Right. So that was definitely a season I saw.
Yeah. It's the best season of Arrow, to be fair, but Brother Blood is not the strongest aspect of that season. So, yeah. Also saying best season of Arrow just feels weird. But yeah. It was that pretty much like the only thing you knew him from.
Yes.
I forget. Was he in the cartoon at all?
He was the main villain. Yeah, he was the main villain of season 3.
Oh, okay. It's been a long time since I watched that show, actually.
Again, I also did not watch, I watched the cartoon, but I didn't it was the problem of I watched it on original broadcast, so I was very young. So there's going to be a lot of gaps.
Yeah, there was a time when I know I had seen the entirety of the show, but it is so foggy in my brain right now. I should go back and rewatch it though, because I know it's great.
It's a fun rewatch.
I'm sure. Yeah.
One of these days we'll do a bonus episode on it. Probably.
We should.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. You remember that Ashley Johnson is in that show, Jacob?
I was gonna say she's Tara.
She's Tara. Yeah.
Which crazy. Might have been my first exposure to Ashley Johnson in anything. Which is
probably It was definitely mine. I don't think I knew her from anything before that. Yeah.
So,
anyway, yeah, totally. We haven't actually talked about the issue yet. Anyway, a baseball game. There's a bomb at a baseball game. And
I fucking love the narration here.
Oh yes, it's good, so snappy.
It's they're wrong. They call baseball the great American pastime. Perhaps long ago, in a more innocent age, it was, but no longer. America's newest pastime, indeed, the pastime for most of the world today, is a far more brutal game in which there are no winners. The name of the game is terrorism.
Amazing line. I love it.
I was trying my hardest not to go into Stan Lee there, because it is.
Stan Lee is somehow still the voice of comic book narration. It's so weird.
It's because the man defined the Silver Age narration.
Well,
let's be honest.
It's that weird sensationalist way of speaking. It's just it feels like you're selling something to somebody, no matter what. It's great.
Anyway. we have Raven and Starfire just jumping in the middle of the space and say, guys, there is a bomb, and you need to evacuate now. Surprise! There is a bomb. Also, there are snipers.
Yeah.
Who are we just want to murder the Titans for some reason.
Raven gets information from a guy about where the bomb is. Starfire rips up a hole in the ground and takes the bomb into the air and sends it flying. Great opening.
Basically, throws it into space.
Yeah. It's still a bomb, so it's still sends her flying back down to Earth, and Raven's able to catch her. But it's just a great way to open the book. It's just a great opening action sequence.
And they are being watched by a mystery man.
Jacob, let me ask you, who are they being watched by?
A mystery man.
A mystery man? Do you know?
A mystery man. No.
I'm curious. Do you know? I could tell you, because they're not really going to go into it much more in Titans itself.
Oh, no. Wait.
Oh, yeah.
Is this the Crisis setup?
We're doing Crisis setup. Yeah, this is
So
this is the first appearance of the Monitor ever.
Oh, wait! I thought the Monitor came a few years after this.
Yeah, no. This is accounted as his first official canon appearance.
Wow.
Yeah. I had to look into it because I was like, wait a second, that's totally what they're doing there. Because there are a million other teases like this across a bunch of other '80s DC books. But
mind you, this issue released in July of 1982, 3 whole years before Crisis happens.
Yeah.
I should have guessed. I should have fucking guessed. I should have guessed that.
Yeah, crazy. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, meanwhile, we're gonna catch up with a totally different character. This is
Marcy.
Yeah,
who we have been introduced to before. Who is running away from a religious retreat, and there is an evil nun.
What is Marv Wolfman saying today?
Well, okay. See, I was trying to parse that out a little bit because I'm like, we're not quite in the rise of scammy televangelists.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
And maybe it's the fact that I was recently talking about, and you recently watched Star Trek V: The Final Frontier, which has a plotline directly derived from William Shatner's hatred of televangelists. But is that kind of feels like what this is?
Kind of. I was getting kind of a more Jonestown-y type cult type thing.
That's fair, yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. We could have gotten.
Although with some of the stuff that Brother Blood is doing later on, I think, I don't know. I could, I don't know. I could pull it from that at least. If not
actually, yeah. Well, I mean, okay. Pat Robertson was still was a thing at this point still, and he was been on television for 2 decades. So that could be. I could be completely wrong, and there could be some actual anger there.
Yeah.
Marcy is shot at.
Yeah.
By a nun with a gun.
None with a gun. Meanwhile, Vic is talking to Sarah, his friend, quote unquote friend, if you will. While there's a call, Vic gets a call from Marcy in her final moments as she begs him for help, and then she is killed, and Vic doesn't know what to do. He hears her die over the phone, and he goes to search for her. This is where he uses his ear amplifiers to find out where she is.
I mean,
it's a bit of a stretch.
Well, let's be honest. It's the 80s, so it kind of works. We're working with the technology at the time.
Yeah. But yeah, then we get this fantastic full page of almost no dialogue of Vic going to find Marcy, seeing her dead, and these not even speech bubbles. It's just these bold words, and above him screaming "Why?" It's just it's so good. Fantastic page.
And then we get to see the cult member who brought Marcy into the cult being presented before our Brother Blood, and I mean, this is a supervillain because his chair has a trapdoor button. Mm-hmm. That
his chair is also it has teeth to hide him in shadow. It hangs above him. But yeah, he has a trapdoor, and he sends her below to this giant acid spewing spider, and she dies. And then we see Brother Blood in full, and what a costume! Oh my god, it's beautiful. Fantastic design from Perez here.
The right amount of camp silliness.
Oh, it's so campy. I love it.
This is also where we get hey, Wolfman and Perez are pissed about the religious influence on the United States government.
That's true.
It comes up a lot about how they have believers in the Senate and Congress.
Yeah. So good.
Which is very good, but I also find that kind of hilarious because the Senate is part of Congress. Like guys, this is the Department of Redundancy Department.
Let's.
Yeah. Brother Blood is like, you know what? He decides what he needs to do. He has bigger fish to fry than attending to the unfortunate fate soon to befall those 7 young children. Like,
amazing dialogue.
It's fascinating. Now we can actually get some. I mean, it's not like we haven't already get some nice character beats with the Titans.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna catch up back up with the rest of the Titans as Vic tells them about what happened, and they agree to help Vic out. We get a great scene then where Vic goes to Marcy's funeral, and we get this really great sort of standoff between him and Marcy's family. Her father that lashes out at him. Just a fantastic scene. I don't know. I love Wolfman. Always just has this great edge for like small character drama like this. It's wonderful.
He also is just really good at doing. I don't think it's just Wolfman. I think there might be some Perez influence here, based on what we've read of Perez's Wonder Woman. For these interfamilial dramas, it feels less Wolfman and more Perez at the pen. Because
it's. I mean, Wolfman is the one doing the scripting, so.
Yeah, but they are also working. This is a team that by this point is working so close together. You may as well give them co-writer credits. On every issue.
Yeah, that's fair. Actually, I guess I don't know much about that. I don't know. Do we know how much exactly how exactly split up their duties were at this point in their run?
I don't think we do, because I know at some point they were like neighbors, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm pretty sure they were like working that close together. So
yeah, but I don't know when that happened. Sort of like in relation to this portion of the run.
Yeah, I mean, maybe by this point, because we're kind of close and this is really taking off, and they've apparently already been. I mean, they've already been commissioned to write Crisis.
Yeah. Or at least they knew. Here's the thing. I'm pretty sure this is more a hunch than actual knowledge about what happened, but I'm pretty sure that Wolfman and Perez were trying to set up Crisis at first as a big Teen Titans arc, and only when it got so big to the point where they I want to say it was still fairly early on in planning it out, but I think there was a time when it was supposed to be part of the Teen Titans book, and not a larger DC event.
That's possible, but it's
especially because this is, what year is this?
82.
July of 82. We're still a good 3 years off from Crisis even happening. So
yeah, but they also announced Crisis early.
Yeah, that's true.
It was announced. Yeah, it was announced fairly early. Because it was to tie into 50 years of DC.
Yeah. Anyway, back into this though. We find out more about Marcy's involvement in Brother Blood's church, and so the Titans go to investigate the church themselves.
Doing kind of the classic. Let's disguise ourselves as delivery people. Specifically Dick, Raven, Donna, and Wally, because for obvious reasons, Vic, Starfire, and Beast Boy would stand out.
Just a little bit.
And yeah, now we get somehow even more anger at. I don't want to at cults. I don't want to say just organized religion.
Yeah, no, because that's I don't think that's the standpoint they're coming from, but it is probably an alarming pattern of shady things happening within certain churches at the time, that they're commenting on here, possibly.
Probably even some things that they didn't know were happening at the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
it's a really nice exchange here between Dick and Wally, where it's just you feel like these two are longtime friends just talking.
Mm-hmm. I do have to laugh a little bit at the line though in that scene when Dick has to ask Wally West if he's religious, Mr. Midwestern conservative man himself. But whatever. But yeah.
But there's this interesting idea of Wally being the one to propose this isn't a real religion is
the Midwestern conservative.
Yeah, but here's the thing. As much as we joke about Wally being a Midwestern conservative,
and he is,
Wolfman and Perez do make him like, I don't want to say the punching bag.
He can be. It's fine.
But he can be the punching.
Let him be. But yeah. Anyway, the rest of our Titans disguise themselves as interested acolytes of the church.
First time Raven's worn pants.
Yes. Yeah. Which is a funny observation. But yeah, they then find themselves in front of one of Blood's presentations, and he begins calling out the Titans as they have a problem with his presentation. I forget exactly what it is here. Is he going to sacrifice this guy? I think that's what it is. Yeah, okay.
It's because this kid was a sinner. He wanted to go home to his parents.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so he's just gonna try to kill him, but the Titans don't want that, so he calls them out, and we have a fight that breaks out, and our Titans all suit up. We had a great little fight scene crammed into the closing pages of this issue, but which ultimately ends in almost all of our Titans being knocked out and taken in by Brother Blood. Raven does make a quick escape. But yeah, Dick, Donna, Raven, and Wally are all captured. And that is where the issue ends, taking us into the New Teen Titans, number 22.
That cover is just excellent, too. I love it.
So good. I was actually just thinking about our one Flash episode recently, where we commented on how great the one cover was where that's Reverse Flash, like all giant like this, standing above like a miniaturized central city in front of him, and it's just like it reminded us of this sort of era of kind of like weird covers, but like a great representation of a villain's power like that. I don't know, I love that. It reminds me
a great preview of thematically what's gonna happen in the issue, because the Titans are going up against a crazy foe, crazy powerful foe.
But the story is called Ashes to Ashes. As Raven's soul self has escaped and gone to warn the other Titans. The cult takes the rest of the Titans captured in. They are held in this dungeon.
Specifically, Dick is going to be tortured by a confessor in sort of an inquisition of the Spanish variety, shall we say? Techno-Spain. The Techno-Spanish Inquisition is what we're getting here.
Techno-Spanish Inquisition. But yeah, that's going to happen to Dick, and meanwhile, Vic and Gar and Corey are all warned by Raven's soul self of what has happened, and so they're all called to action. Meanwhile, Dick is being tortured the whole time, being thrown into this sort of like sewer below the church with the rest of the Titans. They're throwing it down with the giant spider. That's right. Ridiculous. I'd love.
We need to have a giant spider. I think John Peters was put on as like a producer of these two issues with the amount of giant spiders that have.
We love the giant spiders. So good. But we get a little fight scene with the giant spider as Dick tries to save his friends down here. We also get is this the first time that we see Bethany Snow in this? This scene?
Yeah. So we need to talk about this. Like,
talk about Bethany Snow. Yeah,
because this is the way Perez and Wolfman and Perez are going to use the media is really interesting.
Bethany Snow, I don't think it's anything in this volume, but gets even more interesting next volume.
I can tell that she is going to be a like important character just because of the focus she gets here, and I think she pops up a little later in
a little bit, yeah, like
in this volume. Not too much because there are other fish to fry, and
yeah.
If there's, I don't want to call it a misstep because it's not really a misstep. It's just telling a story over in a serialized format. The second arc of this, we go to space, so we don't have we set up some more human characters on Earth, but we don't follow them entirely because we're going to space after this. And
it is just a massive sidestep, and Wolfman and Perez can't really comment on the other things that they had set up on Earth before they left Earth. And I wouldn't say there's anything especially wrong with that, but yeah, it does cause this minor distraction, I would say.
I feel like Bethany Snow here kind of represents some of the complacency in the United States media, especially because this is 1982. Ronald Reagan has been in office for 2 years. Things are starting to. I have a feeling that as we go on with this, Wolfman and Perez are going to get more and more angry with the Reagan administration.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of obvious because Bethany Snow is fully propping up the idea that this church is a church. This is like an ancient religion that has just been refounded when like
Brother Blood is also supposedly like 700 years old. He's supposedly like immortal.
Which he's not, right? Like he's not actually an immortal character.
Is he?
No, I think he's just a supervillain.
Is he?
Stop making me doubt myself, Joseph.
Doubt yourself, Jacob. Nothing is real. But yeah, Bethany Snow, is like propping them up. It's just it's a nice little religion. They just want to be a religion, and all these nasty titans are here to put a stop to it. So, Blood sort of addresses people on TV. Right before the rest of the Titans burst in, Corey, Vic, Gar, fighting off a bunch of cultists.
Mind you, they're still broadcasting when the fight happens. Like,
oh yeah, and these cultists openly pull out firearms. Like
that's real good for their image.
Exactly. It's so good. Yeah, they openly pull out firearms. They begin fighting off the Titans.
Brother Blood is really good about like busting out the terrible rhetoric of they're coming here to exterminate us.
They're persecuting our beliefs is something he actually says. I love it.
And you have this one moment as like, mind you, as this religion has pulled out firearms and started, yes, firing on people who have been attacking them. Firing on the Teen Titans, who are a known superhero team at this point. Like, they have worked with the Justice League at this point. And Bethany Joe's like, the violence continues as Brother Blood desperately tries to defend his church and believers from attack. Is this what America is coming to? Are we a country of hooligans and terrorists?
It's so good. The drama. Meanwhile, we catch back up with Dick and everyone against the giant spider. Raven's soul self returns to her body, and
I love that Dick thinks he's going to die, and he apologizes to Raven, and then he apologizes to Bruce, which is fascinating. I don't know if Wolfman. I doubt Wolfman and Perez have the idea for Nightwing at this point. Like, I imagine it might start being formed because, like, the idea for Nightwing, let's be honest, came about because Jason Todd was like in sort of in conjunction with the development of Jason Todd.
Yeah, I mean, also, this is also me saying this because I am in the middle of reading Volume 5 already, so you can definitely see next volume that they already have the idea for Nightwing, but I don't know if it exists here yet.
That's possible. One thing that I'm actually looking forward to next time, because next time we get to the point where Jason as a character exists. I know, just in terms of publishing dates. So, like, it's starting there. I really like the call out of Bruce, of letting Bruce down, because it's a fascinating insight to who Dick is.
Yeah.
Especially because this volume, let's be honest, for good reason, Dick's not the main focus. Like,
no, of course not. Yeah, I mean, this arc he kind of is, but even then, a lot of this is Vic still.
I was gonna say, even then, this is more Vic Stone, if we're gonna say a single focus, like Vic's anger, and the climax being Vic making some decisions that are completely understandable, but also kind of dark.
Yeah.
So Raven's soul self returns to her body and is able to get up and actually attack Brother Blood while helping the rest of the Titans regain consciousness, so everyone can get out of the pit.
Vic chases after Blood. Blood makes a swift escape, and the Titans are sort of left behind with the cultists. But Vic is able to latch onto like the plane that Brother Blood is escaping in and break off like one of the engines.
He literally tries to rip the plane apart,
which he kind of does.
Yeah, and it goes down.
Yeah, plane goes down. Bethany Snow reports on the fact that the Titans attacked this peaceful religious group and they killed Brother Blood. How could they do that? And so
all while the cultists are like, oh, he's also going to be resurrected because immortal, I guess.
Yeah.
And Raven, being telepathic, is like, yeah, so he wasn't actually on the plane.
Yep, Brother Blood.
So he's still alive somewhere.
Yeah. And so we see Blood as he escapes underwater, actually. They're watching Bethany Snow's broadcast, and Brother Blood promises to come back later, of course. But we're going to end the issue actually on a little tease as we catch up with some familiar green aliens watching the Earth and speaking to the one and only Blackfire, the sister of Starfire. Or sorry, she's not really Blackfire yet. She's still Commander. But this takes us into New Teen Titans issue number 23 and the start of the longest Teen Titans arc yet. And
yeah,
goddamn, guys, strap in.
So I'm going to preface this by saying I have the hot take. We have had a lot of adaptations of the Judas Contract.
Yeah, like 2.
We have had 2 adaptations of the Judas Contract, which is, let's be honest, kind of a lot.
I mean, I suppose.
It's the Judas Contract is the one story that...
When you consider that the Teen Titans cartoon is kind of one giant adaptation of the Judas Contract, I suppose that's a lot then.
Like, it's... there's so much of it. But we know a Teen Titans movie is in development.
That is true.
Will it see the light of day? Who knows?
Who knows?
Will they be doing the Judas? Will they be doing the Judas Contract? Probably. But if I were in charge, I'd be adapting this as my introduction to the Titans.
This would be cool. This would be so fucking cool, man.
It would work. We could get space. We could introduce Starfire. We could have a very fun team.
Also, just cut Wally. I'm sorry. I don't know if that was controversial to say. It might have been, but cut Wally. You don't need him.
Who else would rep the Midwestern conservatives, Joey?
That's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay, Jacob, I highly doubt it's a spoiler to say that Wally West does not stick with this team.
No, because
he's gonna become the Flash. Like we know he's gonna become the Flash. Crisis is gonna happen. He's gonna be fucking gone. But yeah, I think because of that, so many of these early Titans stories feel so fucking weird because he's just there and he's a fucking asshole most of the time.
he's there. Here's what I think. I think our good friends, Mr. Wolfman and Mr. Perez, kind of were like, okay, we need to have Wally here. And like, I get it. Wally's popular. Barry's Flash book is very popular at this time.
He was also a Legacy Titans member. So like he was one of the only ones returning from the original Teen Titans book.
He hasn't... It's telling that he hasn't really had a story arc to himself.
Other than like the one issue with his friend Fran.
Yeah, he's had one issue.
Yeah.
Gonna be honest, like I would adapt the Titans. I would do this team, but just cut Wally. I want Donna to be.
You just don't need him. You know what? Let him look. I know there's been a lot of talk about who's going to be Flash in James Gunn's DCU.
I was gonna let him be the Flash.
Just let it be Wally. Let it be Wally. I just
that'd be awesome.
Barry has had 3.
We've tried and failed with Barry too many times to let him keep being the Flash.
Well, hey, we did have at least one season of television that was successful with Barry.
Saying we had a successful Barry Allen on TV is a pretty bold statement. We had a good season of television. I don't know if we had a good Barry Allen.
People also like the '90s flat version of Barry.
Oh, I do. People. That's a good show.
To be fair, I haven't seen much of it, but I did not like what I saw, personally. Anyway, getting actually into this issue, though, we're opening up with Commander commanding the Gordanians.
I will say, I love that Wolfman in his introduction to this volume is outright like, I just like puns too much, so I named half of these characters puns.
Yeah. He named the alien Commander.
But spelled all fantasy like.
Exactly. Exactly. It's the old fantasy joke of just make it a regular word but add a bunch of apostrophes. Like oh god. Anyway, we see her leading the Gordanians, and we catch back up on Earth then, where the I guess the military is coming in after the Titans attack on Brother Blood and his church. We get some more Bethany Snow being a mean bitch.
The Titans are taken to the office of District Attorney Adrian Chase.
Chase. Jacob, I do have to ask, and I don't want to build this up too much for you, but have you heard of Adrian Chase before?
I read the introduction by Wolfman.
Oh wait, shit! I forget what he said about it there.
He spoils that Adrian Chase becomes vigilante.
Fuck, he does. Damn it! I forgot about that. Damn it! You're right.
But I also think I was aware of that. Like,
okay, because they do vigilante in the Peacemaker show. They kind of adapted vigilante into Arrow. It's weird. Arrow. They adapted Adrian Chase into the show, and they adapted a character called Vigilante into the show, and to purposefully throw people off because they made Adrian Chase the villain of that season, but they made Vigilante a separate character to make people think that Adrian wasn't the villain of the season in that classic CW way. It's a whole thing. Anyway. Okay, so you do know who he is. Yeah, this is his introduction. He is. This is Adrian Chase. He's not here for long in this issue, or this whole volume, really.
No, but we do get this whole, again, the idea of that, like, oh well, we're going to have a whitewash of these events. They're just going to cover up the fact that a poor innocent church was brutally attacked by these terrorist teenagers.
Mm-hmm. You do get the sense immediately that Adrian Chase is at least somewhat sympathetic to the Titans.
He is definitely sympathetic, but he also understands where it's like, you are a group of teenagers who, let's be honest, we could probably prosecute you for crimes, whereas we can't prosecute Brother Blood because he uses legal loopholes.
But as all this is happening, Starfire feels a presence nearby. She feels it with the Force, I guess. As the Gordanians attack, there's an explosion in the side of Chase's office, and God, what a day for the Titans! This is all meant to be in the same day as
this is the same day. Like,
absolutely insane. You know, you could probably start your hypothetical Blackfire film on a Little Brother Blood opening. You probably could.
Maybe. Obviously, there are things you'd have to change adapting this to film.
Yeah. Anyway, but the Titans go into action, and Starfire in particular is attacked. Obviously, she is unwell, being attacked by her slavers.
And she's being forced to use her own starbolts to like attack people, meaning that the Titans are gonna look really bad outside of this. Like, but yeah, Gordanians attack.
And Starfire is captured. They put these devices around her head and hands, and they take her away. Donna tries to follow. She is shot down by the Gordanians. Great fight scene we get here with the rest of the Titans and the Gordanians here. A lot of this is spent with the Gordanians just trying to get away because they only came here for Starfire. The military begins fighting the Gordanians as well. They do successfully take Starfire away and
they just kind of disappear as quickly as they appeared.
Yeah, and
so the Titans realize we have to go to space.
Yeah, because Vic has brought down one of the Gordanian ships, and so
Raven gets some really nice internal conflict about how she's killed someone. Like, I really like how that affects her.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't entirely get resolved by the end of this, and I'm kind of glad that Wolfman and Perez are acknowledging. Yeah, no, like the Gordanians not innocent.
Yeah,
they were still people. Like,
yeah, it's really cool. And again, just a great comment on how Wolfman and Perez just have a great handle on these character arcs, and they know exactly where they want to take these characters, that they don't have to cram all this into one issue. It's so nice. But yeah, we begin our search for a way to space.
Yeah, we have one spaceship. Well, they have one spaceship, but okay. I can't help but laugh.
You know that moment when you want to go to space, and so you contact a deep sea diver to get a spaceship.
So the logic makes sense. It's the spaceship that crashed that they can commandeer from the Gordanians will only carry 3. And there are 6 of them. Never mind. They're going to rescue Starfire. So like, it's like, do you guys? You may need 3 spaceships and not just 2. It's a whole thing. So it's, let's contact Aqualad to help get a spaceship that crashed in the East River way back in issue 1.
Yeah.
So also, like, they invite Aqualad to join them in space. He refuses because he needs water. He needs water every hour, or he's going to dry out.
I fucking love it. Can I just also say, I also just realized this is our 2nd episode in a row with Garth. This is supposed to be the same character.
Is this still a thing in comics, Joey, that he needs water every hour or he will dry out?
This is most definitely not a thing in the comics anymore, Jacob. You know this. He went to whatever the hell the Sea Festival was called in Aquaman last time.
You're right.
Yeah. He could stay on land. He's fine.
Maybe he's just pouring a bottle of water on himself every half hour, like, stay moist, stay moist.
Okay. So we go to space. And we get to reference Star Wars and Star Trek. And the design of this of Commander's spaceship is definitely kind of a cross between some Star Wars and some Star Trek shit. Like,
definitely.
Like,
I mean, we already know Wolfman and Perez are massive Trek fans, so, or Wolfman is at the very least.
Wolfman is at least.
Yeah. Yeah, so good. Actually, no, wait, is it in this volume, or I might be crossing my volumes now? But is there a Star Wars reference in this, or no? I don't think there is.
I mean,
no, I know it's next volume.
We referenced Empire Strikes Back and Luke Skywalker already.
Oh, that's true.
In this issue, like,
yeah. Sorry, I forgot. There's a great Star Wars joke in the next volume. that is in reference to a fictional film that they talk about in the next volume called Friday the 13th Part 13, which I think is just so good. But yeah, anyway, so Corey has been captured by her sister. We get some classic gloating and fucking torture, and my God, the shit this woman is about to go through. I hate it. I love it. It's amazing, but I hate it. Oh God. Meanwhile, the Titans.
It turns out Blackfire has been planning what the torture she wants to do to her sister for months.
Mm-hmm.
She's a psychopath, and it's like, yeah, cool. It's like, yeah, I could just kill you, but I want to make you suffer first, so we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the spaceships are frozen in tractor beams,
Mm-hmm.
and are going to be fired upon. So the Titans, like, mind you, is watching all of this as her friends are brought into a tractor beam, tacked, and then shot out into space,
Mm-hmm.
a la Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. But the Justice League satellite is a thing.
Yeah, and so they get brought to the Justice League satellite, and Superman is there to greet them. And unfortunately, right now, he does not have his powers right now.
At least not
and that
all
is the
of
end of
them.
the issue. At least not all of them. And that is the end of the issue. Before we get into our next issue, I do want to say we just got another Blue Sky question from our friend Rose Panda at joeycanreadthis.bluesky.social. The King has returned over on Blue Sky. First off, he said, I keep missing. And I was like, we're recording right now. Come on, submit something. And so he said, favorite roster of the Titans. I'm curious.
I mean, can I say this roster minus Wally? Like, I really like this roster. I don't dislike Wally. I don't. He's gotten more depth, but if I have to cut a member, he's going away. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
I will say, I also really, in theory, like the lineup for the DC animated movie universe of
yeah, that's a great lineup. Yeah,
of Damian, Jaime Reyes, Blue Beetle, Beast Boy, and then led by Starfire.
Yeah.
I'd maybe toss in a couple other people to like fill out the team a little bit, but
yeah. Great call out of Damian actually in that movie universe, because I well, it's not my favorite lineup. I do always think one of the most underrated Titans lineups is the first Rebirth lineup, which is Damian Wayne, Raven, Beast Boy, Starfire, and New 52 Kid Flash, the Wallace West, if you will. Yeah.
So
it's a great.
I imagine on that lineup we have our Wally who isn't superfluous.
Yeah, he's great, and excluding Vic from the team because he was on the Justice League at the time, makes Wally kind of fill that necessary role that Vic always kind of carried in the team, and so it makes him just a really great character to read. I also just gotta say I always love that first arc because the first villain they go up against is Ra's al Ghul in the League of Assassins, and it's really cool. Yeah, it's very fun. Andrew, what's your favorite Titans lineup?
So definitely this early Wolfman and Perez one, but also what you were saying about the Rebirth one. I love Damian's team. Like,
great team, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that team. It's so nice. I know also you're a big fan of one of the later Wolfman Perez lines up with Jericho, right?
Yep. Yeah, Judas Contract onward. Yep.
Yeah. Good shit. We read a little bit of that back when we did Lonely Place of Dying.
Because that actually had a couple of Titans issues.
We did, as
part of it.
Yeah, it was Wolfman Perez crossover. So, yeah. Anyway, let's actually get into our next issue though, with New Teen Titans number 24,
with the best cover. Like
so good. It is the epitome of. I know last episode I described this as a Teen Titans space opera. And yeah, it is just this is the perfect sort of poster for that. So much so does of course the collection cover for volume 4 of this collection of this run. Yeah, it's just a great cover. How can you not love it? Yeah. Picking up where we left off, Superman aboard the satellite with the rest of the Titans. Cyborg with his legs amputated at the moment, and Superman introducing the Titans to the Omega Men. So,
yeah. So this is
I don't like the Omega Men.
I like them later on in other storylines when their lineup changes a bit.
So these are a Wolfman creation.
Yeah, I think this might also be one of those cases of like back when we did the Doom Patrol crossover in Titans, where it's just like it's a few too many new characters to toss directly at the reader. Or actually, no, a better example is when we did the second volume of Suicide Squad, when there was that one crossover. Oh, who was it with? What team was it with? I can't remember now. It was Suicide Squad and something else. Point being, it's just I don't know. I think you're just gonna kind of naturally lose the readers, even though we are with these characters for the next 3 issues. Yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time latching on to them.
I'll say it doesn't make the volume suffer too much, because Perez and Wolfman still get the time to be focusing on our team.
Mm-hmm.
Wolfman also clearly was like, I want to pitch the Omega Men as, I don't want to say the hot new thing, but kind of like this could be the hot new thing.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's just kind of a natural thing of like, hey, we have a really popular book. Let's use it to do like a series of pilots for other things, and that's kind of what you get here. It's they're fine enough, I guess, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to latch onto them throughout this story. I think they're kind of like the only thing that kind of detracts from this space opera arc we have here.
A lot of focus. When they tie in quite a bit to Zal's backstory and a lot of the point. But I'm more interested in what the rest of the Titans are doing to save Corey. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
So
anyway, more Blackfire taunting her sister, which just I hate seeing this woman sad. Starfire is able to briefly break away from her chains and kill a Gordanian, and she quickly gets taken right back down by Gordanians and Blackfire. But it was worth a shot. This is also the first scene where Commander actually names herself Blackfire. Which is interesting scene, even though the covers had already been calling her Blackfire for a while at this point. But whatever. We then go over to
Citadel Homeworld.
That's right.
Because I thought we were going to be going back to Tamaran. We're not. Well,
no, we're gonna go to the people that did the enslaving of the Tamaran. So let's do that. First of all, I love the look of this world. It's this great sort of like a snowy sort of mountainside look to it. It's very cool. You get sort of like a temple looking buildings all around. I don't know. I really like it. It's very cool for the sort of like sci-fi aesthetic that a lot of the story had been going for up to this point. It's this nice sort of shift from that. But then we're right back to it as we go into the Omega Men's ship, and they begin taking the Titans to find Starfire.
Where we get the big Star Trek parody, like this is a Star Trek ship. Like,
yeah.
Like you saw Wrath of Khan and you wanted to draw that for good reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, find really interesting is at this point we find out that Blackfire is actually not the top. Like, she is not the one in charge.
Yeah, she is still answering to others.
Specifically this Lord Damon, who has a design.
Yeah. That is. He's a monkey.
He's Yeah. But not quite just. It's Perez and Wolf being like, right, we want alien monkey. And we want a bunch of alien monkeys. And I don't love their designs.
Yeah, they have. So it's just as having like a bunch of them, they need to have like a really simple design. So they are just essentially like blue and black blobs. So yeah, it's not the most exciting thing to look at. But yeah, because they
also speak like Ogrons.
Yeah, because they're
That's
monkeys.
exactly what I thought too.
Yeah, they do talk like Ogrons.
But yeah, but I do love the idea of Blackfire being subservient and like that kind of makes her even worse. Like,
well, that she gave up her people, and it's still not even. It still didn't even really gain much from it. The fact that what she's really gaining from it is just the torture of her sister. It's fucked up, but I love it. It's great. We do also meet oh god, I forget this little guy's name. What is it? Scion. That's right, Scion. Yes, we meet Scion here.
Also, Damon has a space fez, which
is a choice.
That's a choice. There's some interest. Let's just say there's some coding here that I think is accidental. It's maybe a bit problematic. Like just a little bit. Like I'm like, you're. It's like guys. We don't need space monkeys in fezes that speak like Ogrons.
Yeah, I don't think the idea of a space monkey is inherently, offensive, but
no, just
with the space fez.
When you start adding the space fez in the way that they talk and a little bit of the design, I'm like, you're getting a little close, uncomfortably close. Were I adapting this to film, which I would love to do, we are going to change that design a bit.
Well, do you need to change the design if you just take away the space fezzes and you just have them talk like normal people?
I might change the design a little bit to work better in live action because I don't know how great this would I don't know how great this would work in live action. Animation, we could probably keep it close.
You could adapt that just fine.
But live action, I might want to try to do a mix of CG and practical effects to realize this honestly.
Yeah,
so that could be interesting.
Anyway, the Titans and the Omega Men arrive. Where do they arrive at?
They are arriving mainly to try to meet Zal. Or Zahal.
Yes, our
living
goddess question mark of Tamaran and its people. And
surprise,
so we do.
Oron of the Omega Men is Zahal's son. It's actually a really I like this plot line in theory. I really do.
This is cool. It's just when I don't know. Again, it's for me. It's a too many cooks kind of thing when it comes to the Omega Men. But this individual plot, like within the Omega Men, I don't mind. I think this is cool.
Honestly, if we only made it half the Omega Men, it might actually work better because then you can actually get a little more focus on them.
Yeah, it really is just too many characters, I think. Andrew, you actually made a really funny remark when you were rereading these issues that you said, certainly not the Starjammers. I'll say I'm not the biggest Starjammer fan myself either, but yeah, I do agree. Like, these,
we have the Starjammers at home.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yes, exactly. We have Starjammers at home. But yeah, Zal and Oron are extremely powerful beings, and so their power doesn't exactly mesh well with the hostile aliens around them. So they begin lashing out. We get this fight scene,
and we're gonna attack the Citadel at some point, and we're gonna have war. Dude Love Changeling is like, well, I can change into a Gordanian and like try to infiltrate, and doesn't work because Garfield Logan is an idiot.
Yeah.
It's
and that's where the issue ends. It's with Gar getting guns pointed at his face, and we go into New Teen Titans issue number 25 and our penultimate issue of our Starfire Blackfire space opera. Here we go. This is part 3. Love our opening page here. Some great action poses from Perez here. Actually, our opening couple pages, we're showing off all of our Titans in the midst of this. Our Titans and our Omega Men in the midst of this fight. Very cool stuff. Some great pages.
Despite the problem being too many cooks, Perez as an artist can handle almost too many figures in one panel and still make it work. Like,
why do you think Perez is the guy that they always got to do the DC Marvel crossovers? I mean, come on, if you want someone to draw a shit ton of characters in one space, George Perez is the guy you get. He's I forget what comic it's from, but there's that famous giant Ultron page with all the different Ultrons. And yeah, like he drew like every single one of them in there. He didn't like copy them. It's badass. Oh, what a guy. Speaking of a lot of characters, we actually get a classic comic splash page of like, here are our players in this issue with the Titans lined up with the Titans and the Omega Men below it. I think it's really cool. I like seeing that. We got our title page with War. What is it good for? It's not called that.
Space battles, apparently. It's also helpful. It's helpful to distinguish who the different members of the Omega Men are, because
I'll say when I was rereading it up to this point, I was like, I didn't even realize there were 8 of them. I was like, really? Are there that many? But there are, apparently.
And then Gar is like trying to explain who he is, or he says, "Does the name Ruby Begonia strike a familiar note? How about Luke Skywalker, Flash Gordon, Captain Kirk? Would you believe Rocky Jones?"
So good, I love it. Gotta love Gar. More fight scenes. We get another great scene of Raven just struggling with like all the death around her. It's fucking good. It's really, really good.
Donna gets a really nice internal character moment. She obviously considers Starfire as much family as her mother or Diana, which is really great, because let's be honest, Donna doesn't get a whole lot of focus this volume, just through the nature of story, but she gets some nice supporting moments like this.
Oh yeah,
and one later on in the final 2-parter when we get to deal with some fun stuff, some fun shipping stuff.
Yeah, look, yeah, more on that later. Raven not doing well, struggling with her empathiness. We get more of Zal and Aron being mother-son.
I like the mother-son drama. It's
nice, yeah, it's decent enough. We go back to the Citadel homeworld. We take most of our we take Robin, Vic, and Beast Boy there. I can never call him Changeling. I don't know why I can't do that.
I know they call him Changeling, but I think
I can never bring myself to do it.
Here's the thing: had they not changed it back, it probably would have caught on.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone knew Beast Boy was just a superior name, though. Come on.
Yeah. And both Marvel and DC had characters named Changeling that they changed the names later because Changeling's kind of a lame name.
It is a lame name. And like, yeah, I get like it was initially done in this to like make the character more mature, if you will. But I don't know. Beast Boy's just a great name. Who cares? I digress. We arrive on the Citadel homeworld. We leap into action, taking on some of these guards outside of the temple here. We get some of Scion torturing Starfire. I hate that Perez draws it so well because it makes me feel her pain so much. It's fantastic.
I think what Perez does really well is a lesser artist might have sexualized the torture.
Yeah, no. Well, because these we get, especially with a character design like Starfire's. But in this, we like we get like the big panel there at the top of page 14 is just this really big close-up on her face. Like the point is her face, the point is the pain, not her body.
I mean, even when we get a full body shot, like it's framed in a way to not really give any sort of
the focus of the panel is Scion, and Starfire is the full body shot is behind him, is the point.
And it helps that she's not obscured, but she's in like an actual torture chamber, so that like that's doing something to also help avoid a potentially sexy pain pose.
Just really smart stuff. I fucking love that. It's a small detail, but I love it.
Also, Blackfire thinks that Scion is a loser because Scion just wants like, I am a curious scientist. I would like to use this torture for science.
Blackfire is essentially just like fucking nerd.
She gives him the most judgmental face too.
She does. Look at that panel. It's great. We continue on with Robin, Gar, and Vic. I don't know why I used one code name and the other two real names. I can't explain my brain sometimes. We go back to Okara with Raven and Wally.
Actually, kind of like the banter between them.
Yeah, it's decent.
Though, let's be honest, don't really buy the romance.
Because we're still playing around with the whole like, I love you, Raven, and I'll never stop loving you, etc., etc.
Sir, I know you will. You are currently married with children, I think, in current continuity.
I love it. But moving on, we Zal is brought before I can't think of the Ogron looking man's name. Lord Damon, thank you. There are too many characters in this story arc. Anyway, it's a great story arc, I swear. She's brought before them. As is Starfire.
It's like, hey, we're gonna keep your god prisoner and then release her when she can't hold her powers in anymore. It'll destroy everyone who worships her. This is gonna be great.
Starfire is brought before them as well, and Dick sees her and thinks she is dead. And again, just the pain that Perez draws on Dick Grayson's face when that happens. It's amazing. Revenge in his eyes. He goes after.
Dick realizes, oh fuck, I've fallen in love.
Oh, good shit. It's so good. He goes after these aliens. Get a great fight scene. He finds out that Starfire is still alive. I love that moment. It's so good. Blackfire goes to kill Lord Damon then, and she does, right? Yeah, she kills him. She kills him. Yep. Okay. She sort of she takes his place there on his throne. Starfire,
striking a fabulous pose, like,
oh, fantastic, yeah. And Starfire vows to go after her then, even if she has to kill her to stop her, and that is where the issue ends, taking us into New Teen Titans Annual #1. That's our first annual for the New Teen Titans, which is
really cool. With a cover that is really good, but it's colored in such an interesting, almost like watercolor way. That
actually really love the way it's printed in here. It looks really nice. It makes it stand out. It's still Perez drawing it, but I don't know who colored it.
If I had to guess, maybe it's the sad part is the colorist isn't credited in the credits.
Yeah,
because they'll Perez is likely doing the inks, because they usually, if someone else is doing the inks of the covers, the table of contents page in these, the way they collect these will notice that. Usually it's I'm wondering if it's Carl Gafford who colored the annual, like
maybe, but it's such a different coloring style from the rest of the annual that I kind of have a hard time believing that.
Yeah, it's the thing. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And I love it.
So nice. Oh god, yeah. Perfect sort of like finale cover for this arc. And a great first pages. Great for first 3 pages, but I love this first page of Corey yelling at a commander. then we get a full big splash page as she attacks her. Amazing full 2-page spread here of that Perez draws. It's just unfucking matched. Oh god, what a talent! Just unbelievable. Anyway, we start up on our fight scene here, which is the bulk of the issue. I love Beast Boy turning into an octopus and attacking Lord Damon's men. Lord Damon's men.
Yeah, man.
The monkey men. We get more fighting. A lot of the there's this larger fight going on within outside of Starfire versus Blackfire happening here. So amazing monologuing between the two of them. I really love it.
Because it's also it's so interesting because Wolfman and Perez Wolfman especially has realized the main event that's going to sell this annual is Starfire versus Blackfire. But also, I can't. We still have to wrap up the stuff with the Omega Men. We do. It's wrapped up well. But the real thrust of the
it's a little messy.
It's a little messy.
It's a little,
but
messy.
It's all in service of the real fight between Starfire and Blackfire, which is going to become a fight to the death. And I love it. Like, it
starts off in a really emotional place as a fight, and yet still through Wolfman and Perez's writing and art, they still find a way to ramp up that emotion and find ways to sort of take it on this roller coaster of like finding the right kind of like dips for like dialogue within the fight. It's very cool stuff.
And if you want to be a little cynical, it's like your compassion makes you weak. No, it doesn't, because compassion is good. But like, it's framed very well, and you really understand Blackfire's. It's not. They never say Blackfire is jealous of her sister.
That's very much the implication, though.
But that is
because that was the implication even back in Tales. Yeah, this is all played alongside Donna and what is it, Primus, sort of amassing these other ships to go to the Citadel homeworld and take on these aliens here. So essentially just ramping up this big giant final fight here that we're doing. We get Scion using Zal as a weapon here towards the end. Or it's still around like the middle of the issue. Using her as like a weapon and actually killing himself in the process. Or am I jumping ahead of myself? It makes her a weapon, but he's still alive. I know he dies at some point.
He dies eventually, but
how does he die? I forget. It's somewhere in here.
Because he's the one who then proposes this whole thing of like a battle of wills that if Commander wins, leadership is yours. But if Koriand'r wins, Tamaran will be spared. And they're gonna broadcast it to the universe. It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
That allows us to have the interlude to kind of just Mega Man plot really quickly, so then we can devote literally 20 pages to the Starfire Blackfire fight.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, for the Omega Men, as forces are amassing, they end up finding their way to the Citadel homeworld, and we get a little bit about more of Zal's backstory about the whole how she was killed in an attack, and the Scions brought her back to life, and that kind of created her to be a destructive goddess. It's all thing. It's really interesting.
Also, in the middle of this all, there's been this whole subplot of the one Omega Man member, Demonia, being like a traitor, and Beast Boy figuring this out, and that happened. I forgot that happened, but that happened in there. Again, really quick wrap up, but it's
a subplot that didn't need to be there.
It did not. It did not need to be there because this is the first time we mentioned it this entire arc. But I swear it was supposed to have been there before.
And it was there. It just
It just wasn't worth mentioning. I don't think.
Because then we get on Tamaran where the fight's gonna happen, and it's a physical fight, which is really it's fascinating. I love the way Perez draws the fight itself.
Yeah, it's awesome. I fucking love it. Yeah, just great stuff. Great action throughout. Perez crushing it. A surprisingly bloody fight as well. It just I don't know. I just surprised how much they're able to get away with at the time. It's very cool. Love seeing that. We get our sort of climax here where Starfire does defeat Blackfire
by literally throwing her over a waterfall.
You know, the way that all supervillains stay dead.
Well, I mean, the important thing is we don't see a body, and that's the important part.
Like I said, the way that all supervillains stay dead.
Yeah, she's dead. She's never coming back. Never, ever.
Totally dead. Never coming back. Yeah. But yeah, we sort of begin closing out here. That's right. Yeah, here's where the Zal being a weapon of mass destruction comes in. Because yeah, giant fucking explosion. Scion screws over Lord Damon's people, and Raven goes to Starfire and heals her wounds in the end. There's this great implication of there's this great like single panel in there as she heals Starfire of the wounds showing on Raven's face and then them healing off and escaping her. I love that moment. It's really good.
And then we get 3 pages of really nice ending to the annual, like
because earlier Blackfire had tried to convince her sister that her parents were dead, that they died after Corey escaped, and turns out that is not true. Starfire's family is still alive, and we get this really nice reunion, and Starfire wishes to stay with them, but they are actually leaving Tamaran, and she has found her family with the Titans, and so it's a great ending. I really love that. It's a great final couple pages. Also, just small note, I really love that final page of the ship going through space with the end button on there. It looks really nice. It's really satisfying. Yeah, fantastic ending. Great arc. A little rocky at times. I think mostly in the stuff involving the Omega Men, but otherwise, it's really good. And definitely the focal point of this volume. But anyway, let's go to a little mini arc to sort of close this out here with the New Teen Titans number 26. First off, powerful cover. I love that cover. I love the next cover too, but this one especially. I love this one.
Yeah, so this is a 2-part almost PSA. Like
it's a story in not full PSA though. It's something that I think having read a bunch of Perez's slightly later work on the podcast, I think it's something indicative of a lot of his solo work, especially on Wonder Woman. The kind of stuff that he would like to talk about there. So I don't know. I think it works. I really love this. Let's get into it though. This is a story called, what's it called? Runaways. That's it. The Titans are returning home to Earth after their adventure in space. We got to take some time at the start here to, of course, comment on the status of Dick and Corey's relationship. In that, yeah, they definitely feel something towards each other, but they're,
and they have like an actual adult conversation about it, like
yeah, but they're not really quite yet ready to, call it anything.
I mean, Dick certainly isn't because
he's Dick Grayson.
I was gonna say he's Dick Grayson. Being raised by Batman is
it's a hell of a thing.
It's a thing.
Yeah. But meanwhile, happenings on Earth include was a seemingly random collection of kids making some poor life decisions.
Or potentially, well, the first one is there are some Turkish drug runners that are going to be kind of important.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get 3 sets of kids running away from home for reasons. First, terrified because of he got some bad grades.
Mm-hmm.
The second, annoyed because his parents don't accept his friends.
And the third because of a teen pregnancy.
And it's actually kind of interesting that Wolfman and Perez, even here, they frame it like very explicitly, this is the parents' fault. Like,
oh yeah, it's a little simplified in a, oh well, you're pregnant and you're the one that fucking did this to yourself, so get the hell out of my house, kind of thing. But like, I feel like that's kind of necessary for the kind of story that Wolfman and Perez are telling, to like, simplify it in that way. I think it works.
I mean, it's also just, let's be honest, it's bold to do it because,
and also in some cases realistic.
Yeah.
Especially at the time. I mean, but anyway, the Titans return back to their home base, sort of all, still recovering from the events in space.
I love this first page of them back at their home base where everybody gets like, it's all in one. It's basically all in one big, mostly in one big panel of everyone just taking in the fact that they're home in their own way. Like Gar is kissing.
He's kissing the window.
Kissing the window, which is literally just the bottom of the panel.
It's great. I love it.
And then Dick and Corey are gonna go on a date.
Yeah, they're gonna go out. And I love that. First off, I always love Donna as the mother of the group. She's like, "You two enjoy yourselves, sweeties."
Also, Donna's like, also chaperones are not permitted. Like, go on your own, because Ron's like, it'll be fine. Donna, don't worry about your friend / surrogate sister. We'll probably have Alfred as a chaperone, which I could imagine. I could definitely imagine Alfred as a chaperone.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of a shame we don't see it.
Right? Yeah. Then we get the gorgeous splash page of the of the title, Runaways. Oh my god. Fucking unbelievable title page. I amazing. Just blows my mind. It's so simple, but the silhouettes of the kids on the bottom, fucking perfect. Anyway, out on our date, Dick and Corey are out on a date.
They're going to go see the musical 9 on Broadway, which
good for them. First off, that is very short notice.
Yeah, like how. Also, it's kind of I guess it would be a contemporary poll of like what was big on Broadway in 1982.
Yeah, I certainly didn't know that. We see one of our kids from earlier, sort of freaking out in this crowd, all sweaty, carrying a knife, goes to attack Adrian Chase, who is in the crowd with his wife. And Adrian's able to sort of talk it down for the time being, and then he has to sort of like, take the kid down, take the knife out of his hand. The kid runs away.
Runs into the street and gets run over and killed.
Yeah.
Like,
Jesus, oh man, what a fucking downer after our big space opera. Fuck, oh my god. I hate to just put it that way, but oh my god. It's so good though. Like it is a hard-hitting drama. And again, I my mind just keeps flashing to all those great conversations we've had about Perez's Wonder Woman. It reminds me of a lot of those really powerful issues. Anyway, kid gets taken away by an ambulance.
We get a 2-page interlude of "Hi, Tara."
Hi, Tara. Yeah, Beast Boy is watching watching a monitor where he sees at the Statue of Liberty a girl in a brown and orange suit on the run, it seems. Beast Boy goes to help her, and she makes a run for it and makes some rock structures out of the ground and makes an escape, and Beast Boy decides to go after her. And that's all we're going to see of her for this volume.
That is. Oh, we have the idea for the Judas contract right now.
Let's do this. I mean, hey, fine enough setup, and we'll certainly talk a lot more about this whole thing next time.
We've still got 2 volumes before Judas contract actually happened.
Yeah. Anyway, but meanwhile, Raven is out with some friends. She gets a sense that there's danger nearby, so she goes out into the street and finds one of our other girls from earlier. Or no, this is
this is
the girl, the teen pregnancy girl. She finds her. Takes her back to her apartment. Vic is there, and Raven and Vic try to help her.
Mainly by letting her have a place. Her name is Lizzie. She's been beaten. They eventually take. They're being watched by someone else. Slight spoilers, it's the brother of the kid who was on drugs and got run over by a car. But they do take her to a runaway center where, it's like she's going to be looked after. Also, Adrian Chase is there and has a proposition that there's a very large supply of dope that is going to hit the streets and wants some help in finding it. There's also like frank discussion of sex trafficking.
Yeah.
Like
it's this issue and the next just they do not hold back.
It's very 80s and is a bit simplistic in places, but I think it largely tries to tackle the issue from a very human perspective.
Definitely. We then see our brother from earlier sort of listening in from outside. And then he goes to watch our supposed
drug traffickers and sex traffickers.
Yes, and
our villain's name is Anthony Scarapelli, which is
Scarapelli. Yes. Anthony Scarapelli. He has the other kid from earlier that ran away from home, working on his boat. They spot the kid watching the other kid watching from across the way and begin chasing after him. Meanwhile, Adrian is talking to the Titans still, and they eventually part ways. There's this great moment though where when Dick is talking to Adrian, Adrian kind of uses like his respect for the law as like a way to guilt the Titans into like doing what he wants. His last line here is maybe I no longer care about the law, maybe I just care about what's right. And there's this, I love that panel so much. There's this shadow of a bat across Adrian's wall, and the narration says those words, Robin has heard them before, spoken with the same fanatical intensity. You can already get the sense that I think this is where Wolfman and Perez are going to begin setting up Nightwing things, because like just that hint of doubt in Robin within Batman, calling it fanatical intensity, I think is very important. But anyway,
they go back to Vic's apartment and they find that the guy watching them, who's been shot several times, is bleeding out on Vic's floor.
And that takes us into our final issue for today, New Teen Titans, number 27. God, what a cover. Hey, also, free 16-page comic review, Atari Force. Hey, guys, that's pretty cool.
Say
it! I always love when they keep the ads. It's so good. It makes for a great bit. Thank you, Comic Collection Publishing, for keeping the joke like this alive. Anyway, open our prologue. Essentially, what we're doing is we're following other kids in similar situations to the ones we met last issue, all getting involved somehow in the drug trafficking, sex trafficking that is going on here across this group. But when we actually pick up with the Runaways Part 2 title page, which is almost as cool as the first Runaways title page, it's now like the blood along the wall and floor of Vic's apartment of this kid. Just fantastic. Love that title page. Raven begins trying to cure the kid, and she physically cannot do it. And his pain begins to show on Raven's face. It's not working at first. It takes a lot of work, and I love just the extra time taken to show that even Raven, she does it eventually, but Raven, when a character is so, I suppose, near the brink of death, it gets harder and harder for Raven to help them. Just a great little touch. I love that. But he is brought back. He is able to talk to the Titans, tell them about his brother. Great scene. And the Titans then get a visit from the one and only Roy Harper, who begins playing a part in this.
Who has been working with Adrian Chase, which is, again, interesting, especially because, Roy Harper has a history of drug abuse.
Mm-hmm. Which I believe, it is directly called out in this, right? Yeah. Yeah. I love that. That's just a fantastic thing to bring up. That's a great plot point. I think that's fucking perfect.
Shows his growth from then to now, and it's like I like that. It's him helping the people who are in similar predicaments to him.
Yeah, exactly. I'm also just a massive Roy Harper fan. And I haven't expressed it much on the comic on the podcast because we haven't really covered that many Roy Harper stories.
It doesn't help that we have literally done one episode on Green Arrow, and Roy is
we had Roy Harper back in Suicide Squad, though.
Yes, and
he was great there. He was really great there.
And does he stick around in the next volume of this?
He'll be here for a fair bit of the next volume. Yeah.
Oh, good. Because
he'll be around. Get another interlude showing more kids in various situations, but getting involved in the drug and sex trafficking business.
All Runaways. They're very effective.
Yeah, there's this. The last one is especially kind of scary. It's this much younger kid. I don't know. It's kind of scary. Anyway,
he's drawn so creepy too.
Yeah, it's unsettling. But then we get Raven talking to Lizzie and trying to help her some more. She does, cures her at least. Lizzie goes.
Lizzie just wants to go home.
Yeah, she goes back out into the street
and is approached by her pimp,
Rondo. Such a creepy scene. Such an unsettling scene, I should rather say. I guess I don't know if you're still listening to this and you haven't read this. I guess content warning. There's literally this guy literally kisses her like this is an underage girl. Like it's fucking creepy. It's I don't know.
I promises her one little job and she'll get a ticket home, which
is just not true.
I mean, she gets a ticket home, but well,
not from him.
Not from him.
Back with the Titans and Adrian. Raven uses her powers to try to find out where all this trafficking is happening. Roy Harper suits up into his Speedy outfit. Love to see it. Love to see some Speedy. They take their jet to go find these guys. We get a nice little scene with Adrian and these and the rest of and these other people here at this
runaway house. Where the kid Paul runs further away to intervene, and it's looking good. Because then Adrian is worried about this kid getting himself killed like his brother, and he's going to have to move. So we go to find where the drugs are coming.
Yeah. And so we find it. We find Scarapelli with these other kids, a lot of kids it seems, and his other workers. He's recruiting them. The Titans arrive to try to stop this. Great action shot, first off. Again, Perez just does a great job with that. But yeah, Scarapelli makes a swift escape as the Titans take on the other traffickers there. They're able to destroy Scarapelli's boat. They're able to rescue most of the kids. All of the kids, but certainly not the same kids that were taken in. The heavy implication that they were just all so severely damaged is only exemplified more by the fact that the one kid, the one from the very beginning of last issue, kills one of the traffickers, just slits his throat because he's just that damaged by the experience. It's so, oh god, it's so good. Vic is kind of broken by this moment. It's the rest. The police arrive. They're able to help finish putting a stop to this. Adrian arrives. They arrest these other traffickers. Oh no, they do get Scarapelli. That's right. They take him in, even though he says they've got nothing on him. Raven comforts Paul at the end there. It's a great scene between them. We get an epilogue of the...
Yeah, the epilogue is probably the most powerful thing. It's where the sights really hit on the parents, I'd argue. Because we have Paul going home and being welcomed back with open arms.
You have Lizzie going home and not being welcomed back.
And another kid running away.
Yeah. And with the line, and all these, the prologue, interlude, and epilogue all ended with the line, and so it goes. The implication being that there's just nothing you truly can do about it. It's so fucked up, but so good.
It's very good.
And that is the end of the volume. Oh man, that one took a lot out of me. Holy shit!
Yeah, no, it's
yeah. Isn't it crazy how we could talk for a near full 2 hours about 8 issues, and Aquaman's 13 issues last time made an hour and a half?
I mean, that just tells you a little bit about the caliber of the stories being told in a way.
Yeah, a little bit. Oh man, almost like this is a really important piece of comics history we're reading right now.
And just really good storytelling, and Marvel and George Perez not missing, because they're Marvel and George Perez.
So good. Oh god. But I think that does it for that. I guess sort of closing thoughts.
Oh, sorry, you go first.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's quite good. Again, I still think Volume 2 is better. I'm very excited to get into Volume 5. I'm very curious to see where Volume 5 is going to end us, leave us in the end, because
I'll say this: Volume 5 ends on the second annual. It ends on a purposefully longer story.
Right, because I know we still have the Judas contract doesn't happen until Volume 7.
Yeah,
and I know Volume 5.
5 is setting it up. Judas Contract is a story. I think in modern collections of Judas Contract, it collects issues from Volume 6. So 6 is kind of where it starts.
6 is kind of okay, because I know the Judas Contract story itself is the first 4 issues of Volume 7, the 4 issues titled The Judas Contract.
Yeah.
I I really hope that we don't take so long to get back to this after this block is done.
I know. I will do better, Jacob. There's so much. There's so much.
I know.
There's so much.
I totally understand it. Like, I understand why. Like,
it does excite me though, because it means our next Titans block is volumes 6 and 7, and it's gonna be full Judas Contract mode. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Andrew, closing thoughts?
This is definitely the darkest volume yet, and it's also where Wolfman and Perez seem to be finding their footing. Like, this becomes the norm.
Yeah, I agree. I think, it definitely is. I think of the 3 arcs presented here, in a weird way, as great and as epic as the middle arc with Blackfire is, I think I kind of prefer the Brother Blood and Runaways arcs as a whole. But just for me, just like shorter, tighter stories, in my opinion. But God, the Blackfire arc is ambitious and is definitely more emotionally resonant for what Wolfman and Perez are doing with the run.
I still can't believe we have our romantic pairing actually discussing their relationship like adults in a book from 1982.
Amazing, isn't it? Amazing. Love it. All right. Well, that finishes us up for today. You already know what's coming next time. We're doing more Teen Titans by Marv Wolfman and George Perez. It's going to be issues 28 through 34 and the second annual. So another 8 issues next time. Going to be a lot of fun. Be sure to join us for that. But let's close it out. Let's do some promotions. Andrew, anything to promote?
I'm on Blue Sky at Andrew Doing Art.
Very true.
You've been doing some art. You have been doing some new art.
You have been doing some art. Absolutely, yeah. I'll have your Blue Sky linked in the description below. You can follow him there. Jacob, what do you got going on?
I have my blog where I have mainly been reviewing Star Trek recently. I don't know. I will have just started The Next Generation. I think.
You'll be actually 3 episodes in by the time this comes out.
Yeah. What's the 3rd episode called? It's
The Naked Now.
Oh, okay. See, I legitimately did not know because I haven't even started TNG yet from when this is coming out.
Yeah. Gonna be fun. Check that out. Sorry, anything else in your blog? I apologize.
Mainly just that.
Okay, cool. So I was right to move on, but I felt rude about doing that, and I asked you to move on. I asked you to say more, but you didn't have anything more to say.
I didn't have
Same applies to me though. Star Trek things. We started Star Trek Next Generation. Encounter at Farpoint parts 1 and 2. We did all in one video. The Naked Now would have just come out at the time this is coming out. And also, if you join our Patreon, you can find our next episode 1 week early, which is unfortunately, I believe, Code of Honor. So maybe you don't want that 1 week early. But otherwise, check that out, I guess. Also on the channel, we do other fresh-faced things. We do fresh-faced one-shots where we cover current comics, things that are currently coming out. We do Superman by Superman by Joshua Williamson. Too many names today. Jesus. George Perez is not writing
Wonder Woman by Tom King.
Wonder Woman by Tom King. Batman the Brave and the Bold by Various, which is ending soon. I think at the time this is coming out. The second to last issue will already be out on our channel, or should be coming out soon. Check that out. That's issue 19, I believe. We're also covering The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, the end of the Batman The Long Halloween saga. We also are covering The Uncanny X-Men by Gail Simone, and I personally am covering X-Men by Jed MacKay on Fresh Face Solos, which is having a crossover event coming up. We're recording this really far in advance, but I think it's coming out soon. So we're turning my X-Men solos into one-shots for 2 issues because it's crossing over with Uncanny. So it's
crossing over next month.
Yeah, so it's a whole thing. Check it all out. Also, as far as other things on the channel go, the only other thing is R2BD, which should have had an episode come out recently on Clone Wars things. So check that out. That's out now. All right, I think that about does it. As always, our link trees will also be in the description below. Wherever you're listening to us, be sure to leave a rating, subscribe, comment if you're on Spotify, because you can comment on Spotify, apparently. So subscribe to the channel, Blood Donut Studios. Any and all support means the absolute most. So thank you all so much for listening. Until next time, this has been Joey Morgan,
Jacob Licklider,
and Andrew.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.